I think with African parents, you got to be something. Like you must go to school. There's no other avenue. None. You're not going to come out of high school and then tell me you're going to community college. They're like, what? No, you're going to go to the 4-year college and learn coding. So there's an immense pressure to like achieve more than what your parents gave you.
I feel like the difference is with your blood family, they're always going to be blood. You can go a year, you can go months and not speak or not engage, and you'll still be family. You'll still be all love. But your chosen family, you need to always be checking in. You need to always be making sure they have what they need.
Welcome to Her Side of the Story. This is the podcast where sister friends tell their side of the story about relationships, lifestyle challenges, and triumph. Here are your hosts, Ray and Ash.
Hi guys, welcome back to Her Side of the Story. We are recording on Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms, all the pseudo moms, all the mother figures. We pray, we hope that your day has been amazing.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there.
This month is a little bit more personal, but we're so glad you're here today because we're going to make this episode personal, but still full of love. We are talking family, the people who made us, the people who we choose, and the people we became from both of those families. I want to be honest with the listeners. I myself was not raised by either of my parents, and for a long time, that was just a fact that I carried quietly. Not many people know that. Today, I want to actually talk about that and what that means.
And with Mother's Day being today, we wanted to pour something really special into this one. Whether you had the most incredible family growing up or you're still out here building yours, this episode is for you. So get comfortable and let's get into this.
So Ash, you were raised by both of your parents. Looking back now, what did that give you that you didn't even realize was a gift until you got older?
You know, there are a lot of things actually that it's given me that maybe I didn't realize when I was younger, but stability. And what I mean by that is just like, I was just so used to seeing two people who love me being there for me, right? So it was just like a very stable and rooted upbringing, I would say. I felt like when one parent wasn't able to, there was always someone able to help. Like if my mom couldn't pick me up, I knew my dad would pick me up. My dad couldn't pick me up, I knew my mom would pick me up. There was never no questioning what or whom or if or when. It was always done. I think too, we were just talking about it before we started recording, like living off of one person's income. It was a 2-person income household, which allowed me to experience and do things that a lot of my counterparts were not able to do because I had 2 parents who had really stable careers and still to this day who have very stable careers. But it just really allowed me to be rooted and enjoy my childhood and not have to worry about certain things that I know some people have had to worry about with being from a 1-parent household. It really also helped me understand what marriage looks like as someone who's recently engaged, like dynamic of relationship, and knowing that, yeah, it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be roses and daisies and all these things. But at the end of the day, here are 2 people who decided to come together and really build a family. So I'm very grateful for that. It definitely was something when I was younger, never even, like you said, kind of took it for granted, just never paid attention to it. And I think too, I was also surrounded by so many dual parent households in my friend group and in my loved ones. So I never really experienced until I started to get older that kind of 1-parent household. So Ray, since you grew up without your parents, you spent a lot of time observing how other families operated from the outside. what was one thing you saw in those quote unquote typical homes that made you say, I want to build that for myself, or maybe I'm going to do that completely differently?
Yes, I love this question. So interestingly enough, like I always found myself attracting friends or even like romantic partners who had big families. And I think it was
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have that
Mm-hmm.
typical family dynamic. Funny enough, I do have six siblings, a large amount of siblings. But as for parental, I was raised by a single great maternal aunt. So raised very old school at that. So yeah, like she worked to put food on the table. She made sure, I was clothed and had everything I need. But we didn't do a lot of things that I see big families do. Like they just always seem so happy, so excited to be
Mm-hmm.
around each other. I always joke because also too, I have a very like variety of friends now. Like I have Caribbean
Yeah.
friends, I have African friends, and they have so many family experiences. And
Mm-hmm.
so I always wanted that for myself. So I was like, when I get older, I'm gonna have a big family. I'm gonna have. Oh, I brought that up now. I remember, like y'all have a ton of cousins. My Caribbean and African
Yes.
friends, y'all have a ton of cousins. I literally can count on both my hands just how many cousins I have. Like it's under
Mm-hmm.
10 on both
Mm-hmm.
sides. My mom had 6 kids and she was only child, if that puts some things in perspective. So, and as for us and my family members, they're all older, like 65 and above, 70 and above.
Yeah.
So it can make you feel quite isolated. And I think that's why I always gravitated to my friends, my romantic partners, anybody that was close to me who had big family units because I admired it so much. I wanted it for
Mm-hmm.
myself. And it just was like, damn, why can't I have that? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I wanted when I saw typical two-parent homes, multi-children, multi-cousins, big families, cookouts. That's what I wanted for me. And I can't say that I wanted to do anything differently or I plan to do anything differently because of that. Like that's just a dynamic that I wanted for myself. If anything,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had any kids because I want that strong, solid, typical family unit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I saw.
And
One more thing. I always wondered, I always wanted to make sure if I had a daughter, when I have a daughter, when I have a son, only God knows. But I always wanted a child to want to feel able to talk to me. Like that's very important.
yes.
Like to be a
Yes.
parent who listens, to be a
Mm-hmm.
parent who doesn't rule a household in tyranny. I always wanted that for myself. Like I can't live in a household that is very toxic or very controlling or just
Mm-hmm.
hostile. I wanted to be easygoing and I would, like I would hope people who dwell in my home would find it easy to come to me, to talk to me, to work things through.
I think that's so beautiful about you realizing that and saying, like, this is what I want. This is not going to also make you jaded from not wanting having your own family too, right? Because sometimes if you've grown up in a what some would consider a non-traditional family household or lifestyle, sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to have kids because I was raised by
Mm-hmm.
only one parent, or I wasn't raised by my parents at all, or I was raised by a distant cut, whatever it may be. I was in the foster care system, I was adopted, whatever it could be. I think it's so beautiful that you're able to really still appreciate that where you came from and your family dynamic and realizing too, like, this is something that though I had it and it was great for what it was, I want to create my own and
Mm-hmm.
really foster that. And you do. You have so many friends that are, like you said, come from very large families. And
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that about your mom, that she was an only child.
Yes, my mom's the only child by her mother. I'll
Yeah.
say that. She has
Okay.
two half sisters, but my mom's the only child.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She has
Yeah.
six
Yeah.
kids. But yeah, all that stuff, like when you think about it deeply, it makes sense.
Mm.
So Ash, because you had that solid or what we would call traditional foundation, did you ever feel a specific kind of pressure to be perfect or to recreate that exact same dynamic in your own life? Is there a fear? of falling short of a standard that has been set for you?
You know, I would say my family has always been like very progressive. Like, as we know, I'm African, first generation. So, of course, there are those traditional values that African or foreign parents, I think, have, which is naturally you have a partner. In order to have a kid, you have to have a partner. Like, that's just what you do. For me, I wouldn't say there is pressure, but it definitely is like, this is what I'm used to. So I don't know how I would handle it without a two-parent household for me, because I've never experienced that. And I think more than anything, my community, not having the community too, because yes, I was raised by my parents, but I have so many like pseudo moms in my life. As we talk about Mother's Day and the amount of Mother's Day cards and calls and texts that I have sent out today alone, just shows like how many women were there and raised me. You know, a great example is my aunt Yvonne. She raised me for sure. Like, she picked me up from school, picked me up from aftercare. If I'm going, my cousin Bria and I are 2 weeks apart. Her birthday's June 2nd. I'm June 24th. So we are in the same year as well. So we were naturally like sisters. Bria's an only child, and I was an only child for a very long time. So it was like, naturally, that's my sister. We were raised together. So, it taught me that, yes, I have these two parents and I rely on them a lot. But as a kid, I relied on my community a lot too. And I want, as I'm going into creating my own family, it's not so much the pressure, but it makes me more cognitive of who my community is, because I realize that's who my kid will be around, right? Like Elsie's mom, Casey, Mama Casey, as I call her, Mama Karen. I would say she raised me too. She watched me grow up and is someone I could consider a sounding board. My godmother. I feel like people don't choose godparents like that no more, like that much. But my godmother, who's my great aunt, I feel like she is a huge part of my community. You met Mama Sandy. So there's just so many women, Mama Nancy, Lindsay's mom. Like, there's just so many women in my life, and men too, who are like father figures to me. And my boxing coach, Coach RJ. So it's like, yes, I want that traditional aspect, but I think tradition can look differently. And for me, with having my kid, I expect my community to help me raise my kid. If you see my kid doing something wrong, you going to tell my kid, don't do that. I agree with you. I want my kid to feel able to come to me and speak to me, and I listen. And I want them to feel comfortable to go to their aunties and uncles and do the same thing. Because there are sometimes, let's be real, will be things that they may not feel like they could tell me or their dad. And then I come to Auntie Ray and be like, Auntie Ray, this happened. And because I've been so intentional with how I pick my community, I would trust and support whatever you say to them. You know what I mean? So the pressure of having a traditional family unit, no. But the pressure of ensuring my family unit is correct and a part of my children's life, yes, very important to me. Very, very important to me. And yeah, a lot of our friends are dual parent households. I have one of my good girlfriends is a single mom, and she's amazing, like a rock star of a parent. And I know it's not easy on her, but she's a great example to her kid. And I think to my kids, like, as long as the person is a good person, it doesn't matter if they come from a double household. We as women, we're powerful, as we know. So for you, Ray Ray, when you see a really healthy family dynamic, whether it's someone else's family or something you built yourself, what does it feel like to be around that?
Let me start off with a little jokey joke. So this is like a joke I have with myself, but I'll share it with y'all. Like, I remember breaking up with a couple of my exes, and the breakup was probably overdue, but I did not want to break up from their family. And I was like, girl, you like the family more than you like him. Come on now, be for real. Because I just feel so like full of joy, so happy. Like I assimilate myself in people's families. I really do. Like if I'm dating somebody, I'm up in his family. Your family, I'm all up in there. Hey dad, hey mama. Like I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know why I do it. Well, we kind of know why I do it because we're talking about it. But I just feel joy when I have more people around. It's so funny because you just came to visit. We was doing good through the trip because I was like, oh, we ain't crying. Like the last day, we're downstairs eating Thai food. Out of blue, I just started crying. And I was like, what's wrong? I was just like, I feel so full now that you're here. Like, that's what family feels like to me. Like, when they're there, the presence, whether this is my friends who are the family that I built for myself, or, other people that I care about, family, and they have blood relation to me, I feel full when I'm around them.
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like that's the healthy part of a family dynamic. Do you feel like your back is covered? Do you feel like they got your back? Do you feel full happiness, complete when they're around? And that's my definition of a healthy family dynamic. Really, the fullness to trust and having each other's back. And maybe even that level to be vulnerable, right? Because that was a vulnerable moment. I'm out, it's easy for me to be vulnerable with you because you're like my family for real. But anytime you shouldn't feel like you have to hold back your thoughts or your emotions with your family. She just like, girl, why are you crying? I was just like, I just feel so happy. Like you completed my house. Thank you for coming. It was
insane when you just left. When you just left me, like the moment you left and like we waved goodbye and I like closed the door and I was like, oh my God, like she's gone. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm not gone, but yeah, like this is someone who I love and care about and who's really a part of my daily life. And even though we're not next to each other every day, it's like, oh, my friend, you know what I mean? Like I really love my friends and who are my family. Like as I call y'all my family, like you're my family. I say loved ones. I don't even use the word friend. Like you're my loved one.
Very
like,
rarely.
I rarely use like, oh, my friend. But I'm like, that's my loved one. Like that's someone I love and care about and who holds me down and I hold them down. So yeah, I agree. I think it's very important to be able to be vulnerable with your loved one. Because who, if not with your family or your loved one, who else could it be?
So switching gears a little bit, we know even in healthy families, there's the good, the bad, the ugly, right? So are there things that get passed down that you don't think should? Or was there something your family didn't get all the way correct that you had to take some time to unlearn, if it's valid?
Yeah, I think not saying being a child of a parent isn't hard, because of course your parent has like expectations for you, but being a child of a foreign parent, I think is extremely hard. And I think that my listeners who are first gen, second gen, whatever gen, you get it. And what I mean by that is seeing like your parents who are foreigners come to this country and get it out the mud, like really get it out the mud, is something very different that I think, not saying Black Americans don't get out the mud or white Caucasians don't get out the mud. I'm not saying that. But I do think foreign people, when they come to America, some of them, the language is a second language, right? Or they're speaking English with an accent. So naturally, people are like, what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying. Your name might be different. Your name isn't going to be Ashley, right? It's not going to be Sheree. It might be Oluwatemi. It might be, whatever it might be. There are pressures to be, extremely educated, because that's all they care about is education. Because they're
That's
like, well,
your culture, girl. You got to be a lawyer, an engineer, a doctor, or something.
Yes. And African parents, I will say this, I'm Nigerian. I think specifically Nigerian parents, but really, I think West African parents, you got to be something. Like you must go to school. There's no other avenue. None. You're not going to come out of high school and then tell me you're going to community college. Don't even say that. I'm going to go to community college, get an A degree while learning how to do like coding. They're like, what? No, you're going to go to the 4-year college and learn coding. Like, no, so there's an immense pressure to like overachieve more than what your parents gave you, which we all try to do that. But I think in African culture and foreign culture, it is an immense pressure. And I think I say that all to say, like, one of the things that I think I have outgrown and learned is like there's multiple ways to do things, right? Like the going to school works for some people. It don't work for everybody, right? Having the typical job and what an African parent would consider the doctor, the lawyer, the nurse, the pharmacist, the engineer. That's it. Those are the 5 options you have. Pick which one you fall into. I've learned like you don't have to be those things to be considered successful. You know what I mean? There's
Right.
so many different avenues. Or a professor. Of course, you're a professor. That's a big acclaim too in African culture. But there's other things that you can do to be successful. So I think just like really learning that. And I try to like look back to my childhood, and I don't remember a lot where my parents would ask me what I wanted to be honest, or tell me. I think when I got into college or when I was going to college, I do remember my dad was like, you're going to be a doctor. like, like, that's just it. There's no other options. You're really good in science. You're really good at bio. And when I first started at Morgan, I was a political science major. Because I
think I met when you were a bio major. So
yeah, you might when I was, yeah. And because I really wanted to be a lawyer. Like I really, really wanted to be a lawyer. Not because I knew what like being a lawyer entailed. I just felt like I would be good at it. And
yeah, I could see that.
yeah, right.
Bro, because you argued a case down.
Yes. And I just also was like, I was like very like, I want to be a lawyer, and I wanted to be a lawyer in like the beauty industry. Because I was like, oh, it's like, or like fashion industry. So like being a in-house counsel for like a fashion brand, like a Zara or like a H&M. Like I kind of always thought that. But then I was like, well, my dad's right. I'm good at science. I had won like a lot of awards coming into college for like my research in biology and different things and all these things. And so I was like, all right, I'll just go on that path. And sometimes I'm like, I'm very grateful for my life now. But sometimes I'm like, I wish I listened to myself and betted on myself. Like, this is my life, right? Like my parents, yes, they raised me and they were supporting me financially in college, thank God. But it was my life. Like I could have, what would the worst be? Like, okay, my dad be upset. Are you going to be upset that I'm a lawyer? Probably not. You know what I mean? And I think too, what I learned from that is like, as foreign parents, they have an ideology of your life. And what I don't want for my kids is to put that on them. Like, I don't want my kid to suppress their creativity, their their thinking outside the box because I envision something for them. The only thing I should be envisioning, and I think my dad, I understood where he was coming from because he's very old school and like, this is the way you support yourself for the rest of your life. And my mom felt the same way too. But I think as my mom also works in psych. So of course, like as you know, like sees things differently. I think my mom also learned like, as long as you're happy in doing what you're doing, that matters more. Where I don't think my dad had that. It's like, I don't have to be happy. I need to just work. Like, you're happy when you can afford to pay your bills. So I get that too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to be crying when you have a nice ass house, a nice ass car, a roof over your head, can go on vacation 4 times a year, buy whatever bag you want to. You'll be happy then. So you need to just do this job And don't worry about like, is this making me happy? No. So I would say one of the that is some of the biggest things I've unlearned is like, be happy in doing what I do. Do you know what I mean? I don't have to do the traditional route to be successful in the end. And I think that's also a telling of the times, right?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, when they were growing up, that is the option to get out and, go to school. You got to go to school. If you don't go to school, it's very rare, unless you have mommy and daddy money to get you a business. It's very rare to like be successful without school, without college, without a master's degree, without a doctorate degree, without whatever it is. It's very rare. Where now we see YouTubers making more money than all of us.
Great.
Twitch? The gamers making so much money. These are kids in high school, right? I was watching this documentary on Netflix, one of those like untold series about the guy who played chess and like how much money he was making playing online chess during COVID. So it's just, and he was in high school. He was 16 years old. So it's like, it just shows you, as I've gotten older, like there's different ways. And I think as my parents have gotten older, they realize there's different ways. Like I'm a realtor. I don't think they ever foresaw that for me in my lifetime because I definitely didn't. But my parents don't pay a bill for me to this day. Do you get what I mean? So it's like, and I can support myself. So I feel like for them, they're like, oh, our daughter did go to college, but she's doing something totally different and she's successful. So that would be my like little unlearnings is just to really let your kid explore as long as it's not, as I always say, not to their detriment. Let them explore. It may not be the path you envision, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be a path to their happiness and success. So, Ray, when you talk about, the things we had to carry and learn to put them down, how do those maybe early childhood wounds show up later in your life, whether it's your relationship, your friendships, and how you love people, how you show up in work, just basically how you show up in your daily life?
Oh, this question is deep. Well, being in my close to mid 30s now, I feel like my childhood wounds secretly plagued me, right? Because outwardly, like I'm doing well. I'm getting to the bag. I'm getting to the career, but
Yeah.
inwardly, that's why I said outward. Like you can't tell outwardly, but inwardly, that's just like that's the perfectionism that I deal with, like wanting to show my worth, or my worth and belonging, maybe because I didn't have parents who chose me. Like they could have chose their children, but they didn't. Let's just be for real. So I think those wounds made me go extra hard on every avenue of my life, like work. We know I go hard at work. In my friendships and people I love, I don't know how to say no sometimes, and I don't know when to let go. Like I want to hold on to things. So me being in my 30s now, like this is the first time that I feel like I really have done the work on those inner childhood wounds to this capacity. Like I've always been a level head and been able to, I guess, play the game of life really well in some avenues. And I'm thankful for the distance. I feel like the distance from my family and friends gave me the opportunity to really deeply examine those wounds. Like, you doing good on the outside, right? But you actually are wounded on the inside. You are. You don't know how to let go of things. You attach on situations and identities that ain't really necessarily who you are to your core. And I did what you said about like letting your child follow their dreams deeply resonated with me because, one time a person said to me like, Sheree, I don't really think this is even what you want to do with your life. I think it's what you think you have to do. And after that, I just was like, yeah, I need to play my life my way, do what makes me happy and deal with like all these inner childhood wounds and things like that. So yeah, you know me. I still show up. I'm going to be there, but I've learned to say no. I've learned to like really center myself, because the world is just so busy, so frantic right now. Like you have to take a moment to center yourself and realize, like, is this you operating or is this a wound operating?
Mm-hmm.
And at the past year, like I was like, it ain't no more wounds operating in you. You need to dead them. You need to heal them up, because these wounds just keep you like on the Ferris wheel going around and around and around. So I did realize that, but it's like life is a journey. It took me to my 30s to really be like, dang, you're more deeply wounded than you thought.
Yeah.
Because I'm appear so outwardly good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People say that all the time, oh, you're so inspired. And I'm not saying it like I don't appreciate it when it's said, but like, oh, you're so inspiring. You go hard. You got it together. Like you wouldn't know. But sometimes the healing process and getting rid of these childhood wounds, you have to say some things out loud. And that's why we have this episode today. Like the world don't know this piece about me at all. Yeah. So it just really feel like it affected me to go harder in things. And that's what I'm unlearning. I'm unlearning some survival behaviors is what I would call them. In general, like you do not have to be the chaos that you come from, but you do have to name it before you can leave it behind. And
sure.
Yeah. But before we continue, because with this a deep conversation, I'm like, we need to switch gears. So we're gonna play a quick little game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we love a game.
Yes, it's called Her Take, and of course, this is a family edition.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give like 2 options, and you let me know which one it would be.
Okay.
Okay. So number 1, who gets the emergency call? Is it your chosen family or your blood family?
Ooh. Mama eat it for sure.
Oh yeah.
So blood probably for her first, than anyone, and then chosen family, then y'all. Like I like it's probably simultaneously. Like I'm calling her and then texting you all at the same time. So I would say it's a 1 and then a 1A for me. What about you?
So interesting enough, I feel like this is expected. Mine is chosen family, the family that I made for myself. They get the emergency calls. Ash is actually like my emergency contact on my alarm system. And it went haywire last week, and it's calling her. She's like, oh, I just talked to her. She's fine. I don't know what's going on. So she's, like dead in the system from all the way in Maryland, and I'm in Florida. And disclaimer, like nothing against my family, but really, my chosen family gets to me quicker. They just do. Yeah. In case of emergency, my chosen family is going to get there the fastest. So that's why both my emergency contacts are chosen family right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Big family or small family? Which did you want growing up? I know which one you wanted.
I want a big ass family. Like I love it. I have a small family, and I want the opposite. I want a big, huge family.
Yeah.
I'm curious what yours is, because I don't know.
Oh, big fan. When I was growing up, I want a big family. I come from a big family. Like my parents only had 2 kids, but I've always had a big family because my parents have so many siblings. So I've always had, like you said, so many cousins. Like one of my cousins is texting me right now in London. And so I'm used to having a big family. Leland is one of, oh my God, how many is there? 6 kids? Yeah. And both his parents come from a big family too. So it's like, yeah, we just have a big ass family. So like, I know for me, I was just saying, like, we were talking about cars and stuff. And I was like, I want 3 kids. Which they say if you could have 3 kids in modern day, you have a Birkin at that point. Like you're a Birkin family, because it's expensive to have all them kids.
Oh yeah.
So, and I feel like now in today's society, people usually have like 1 or 2, but I really want 3 kids. And I've been very steadfast about that for years. Like that number has not shifted ever. And like I said, as I've talked about before, being a mom, I don't care how I get the 3 kids. If I got to adopt, surrogate, boss, I don't care what it is. I'm having me 3 kids. So yeah, I want a big family. I'm used to a big family. I'm used to people in my business. I
Okay.
can't do nothing without my family knowing. Yeah.
Okay. The next one, family vacation. Is it a dream or a disaster?
If you would have asked me this like 4 years ago, I would have been like, disaster. No, it's too many. But we do a family reunion every year. This year we're having one. It's in Peru. I'm not going, unfortunately. But it's such a dream. Like I met cousins this last because the last one was held at mom and dad's house. And it was really, really nice. And I was like, okay, I really love my family. Like we cut up. You know what I mean? So I would say a dream. It's really been a dream of mine because we haven't in so many years of like taking mom, dad, Leggy, and me on a vacation, and now Leland. I really would like to do that because we all travel, but like separately or like two together here. Never like we haven't done like a big family trip like that. So I would love it. And especially with my chosen family. What? Once we start having kids, oh, bring them all. Don't worry, we'll be in Florida. We'll be in Florida very quickly, girl. So what about you?
Disaster. Family vacations, well, this has been my experience, right? I hope that they're a dream in the future, but I got to tell a little quick story time family vacations. So I've only been on one or two of our family vacations, and it's because the first one as a child was just annoying. I've always been in my head. So it was annoying. Oh, family, I love y'all. This need to shop. It was an arguing as soon as we walked through the door. Like the grown-ups were arguing. We got, the super religious side who don't drink, don't smoke. The other side, we on vacation, pop bottles. So it was like a class as soon as we got there. Then on the kids, we were all together. We wanted to be mischievous and have fun. And we're on vacation. So we jumping in the pool. All this to say, I got a spanking, right? And I really felt like it was unjustified. And I said, I am never going on a family trip again. Like, why we just can't have fun? Why is people getting spankings and stuff? I jumped in the pool one extra time and got a spanking. So maybe I'm traumatized. I don't particularly sign up for family vacations. And, unfortunately, I see like sometimes life gets in the way and people just like, oh, I'm gonna come and then don't. So disaster for me. Hopefully it changes though. So last one, nature or nurture, which one do you think shaped you more?
There was not one more than the other. I feel like nature, for me, when I like think of like nature versus nurture, I think of like my temperament as a person comes from nature and my emotional like sensitivity, my energy level, and just like natural tendencies that you're like born with, right? And then nurture is like my environment. So like my family dynamic, my friendships, my sisterhoods, the culture, my relationships, and things like that. So I feel like if I had to pick one, probably nurture for me. I feel like I am really, really who I am today because of all of the other people in my life, right? And what they've taught me, what I've seen. It allows me to just be like reflective in that at moments and times, so and just like life experiences. So I would say, I guess nurture, like nature gave me my caring and thoughtful baseline, I guess. Like I think I was born to be like just a caring person naturally, no pun intended. But nurture really has shaped just my emotional intelligence and how like self-aware I am of myself, I would say. So yeah, I think it would be a combination. But if I had to pick, I would say nurture. What about you?
I would definitely say nature for me. I'm definitely shaped on experience. I didn't really have like the lovey-dovey, but interesting enough, I'm very lovey-dovey.
You are.
But definitely life experience definitely shaped me more. And that's okay.
Okay. That was a fun little game. Okay. Getting back to it. How did you learn to build family when it wasn't something you were given, handed, you know, taught, even some would say? How did you know who your people were? Like as you've grown up, like how as you use discernment for people to come into your life, how were you able to be like, that's my person? That's that's the
Hmm.
person I want around me.
I feel like my people, they taught me how to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely taught me how to be. I'm very like hardcore. I don't know how else to say it. Not so much anymore, but yeah, like so it's kind of weird to describe. I took more chances with the family I built and showing them me, the good, the bad, the ugly, more good than anything. But like,
Mm-hmm.
and really letting them into my head. I can be very
Mm-hmm.
private about my thoughts. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable piece. So like once I would explain some of my deepest thoughts, like even like share some of my spiritual beliefs, things like that, like I was like, oh, okay. So this person's getting me and they're not running away from me. Like it was just something I'm not used to. There was no expectations. Like if I was wrong, they didn't immediately turn their back on me and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that's how I learned that my people were my people because they took their time to teach me new things.
Yeah.
They took the
Yeah.
time to teach me how to be vulnerable. They made any of our conversations and interactions a safe place for me. And I was like,
Yes.
okay, this is my people. And I say it all the time, and you'll probably echo this. Like, I don't say it as much anymore because, again, you don't want to throw shots or anything as your family. But I tell my friends all the time, like, y'all are my family. I've been saying it for years. And, like, I didn't know why I would say it. But now that I'm old, like, I feel it. My friends are my family. You know, God placed those people in my life that finally somebody gets me. Finally, somebody sees me. Finally, somebody ain't waiting for me to fail. That's how
Mm.
my people were. Like, y'all not waiting for me to mess up. Y'all not praying on my
Mm.
downfall. Y'all building
Mm.
me up. Y'all holding me to high esteem. You love me. That's simple. You love me.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like my relationships with some of my friends are just very unconditional. And that's
Yeah.
what I didn't have, you know?
Mm.
Because
That's beautiful.
that's what we're taught. That's what we know that your parents provide you unconditional love. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can find it other places though. So like if you're listening to this and you have a story that's similar to mine or worse, because it's really like situations out here. I
Mm-hmm.
was fortunate to be raised by a maternal aunt. As people who grew up in the foster care, is people who
Mm-hmm.
were out on the street at 12 and 13. That's not my story, thank God. So I want to acknowledge those folks too. But you can build your family. You can find your people and they will love you like they're your blood. So
Yep.
I'm fortunate. I have people who love me like I'm their blood. Came to see you right before I left, and your mama had to pull me to the side and get me together. Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't come to town no more. Talking about you're gonna stay in a hotel. Talking about this. She was over me. She said you act like you don't got people who love and care about you.
Mhm.
She got me together in the corner.
Gee, you know
So
she'll get you together, boy. I
I
had to
said,
step
see,
away. I
yes,
said,
I
let
said, see
me.
you later. Go ahead and catch a flight, but I don't want to have this conversation with you no more. All I could do was say, okay,
You
okay.
did. You just said, okay.
I don't want to get beat because that was the nice warning. That was the nice.
That was the last.
That was the last. I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
this to you. We done said it several times over and over again, and you still ain't listening because your girl
Mm-hmm.
could be a little hard headed. But
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can definitely build your family, and they'll love you like they're your own, like they're
Yes.
your blood.
Like you said, part of your chosen family. Yeah. And
Like,
and like mom even said that. Mom was like, there's people who aren't your blood family that are just show up for you so much.
mhm.
And they're your family. Like at the end of the day, you get to choose who you're. That's the beautiful thing about being an adult. You have choice.
Yes.
Whereas a kid, a lot of your life is chosen for you. But when you get to be an adult, you have choice. And having your chosen family is such a beautiful thing. It really
Hmm.
is.
So Ash, you had a foundation that most people would be grateful for, and you still went and built your own circle inside of that, girl. You know, you got a million friends, but you also got a good amount of sisters too. We call them friends and sisters. What made you reach further than what you were already given?
I think I got this from my grandmother, and she had 13 kids, right? 13 biological children.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them had passed at like a very young age. So my mom never even met them. So my mom, if you ask my mom, she'll say, I have 11 siblings. And now she has 11 biological siblings, but my grandmother actually adopted 4 other children who lived in the home with the 11 kids and them. So one of my uncles, I call my uncle, he's adopted, but that is my mom's brother. Like my mom doesn't tell people that's my adopted brother. Like she's like, oh, this is my brother, Kenny. You know, I've always known him as my Uncle Kenny. I didn't know until I got older he was adopted. So I would see my grandmother as you know, I think I've said this on the podcast before. My love for traveling really came from my grandma. We would travel so much. From the moment I could get a passport, I was on a plane with that lady. So like I would see just everywhere we go, she would have this friend and that friend and this person and that person. I have a house in Detroit, and it was a woman who I call Grandma Rose, who was my grandmother's best friend. And she had no kids. And when she passed, she left the house to me. And, you know, I would look at my grandma and be like, why do you need all these different people when we have this family? And she was like, family is people who you meet on the way on your journey of life, you know? And for me, being an only child, I was like, I have to create, my parents won't be here forever. So like, I have to create my own thing, right? That was in a time where I didn't think having a sibling would be possible. So it was like, I got to create my own. I have to create my own people. And so that's what I started to do. Like, from a young age, I just loved having people around me, being around people, having sisters, specifically women. Like, it wasn't until later in life I have men who I consider like very close friends, but I did not play to this day. Everyone knows I do not play about my sisters. Y'all are my girls. And I just knew that these are women who I just can't do life without. Every day I'm reminded, especially in this season of being a bride, I am reminded how blessed I am to have the sisters that I have. Y'all show up for me. Y'all do for me. The women in my life. I just got off the phone with one of the women in my life. And she's like, what can I pay for this wedding? What, like, you don't need to pay for it? She's like, no, I need to pay for something. What am I paying for? What do you need paid? And I'm like, oh my God, no, like you're coming to my wedding in Nigeria. You're doing this. She's like, yeah, but financially, what do you need? You know? So it's like, I saw my grandmother creating that. I saw my mom creating that. And I was like, this is just innately, I guess, in me too, is like, I just always love being around people. So I was like, I have to have my own sisters. So it was just always so important to me to have that relationship. And I guess that's where that nurture part of me comes in, of like seeing women in my life create their own community. And I was like, I just have to do the same for me. Right. So especially at a time where I thought like it would just be me by myself forever as a young kid with no like sibling. And then my parents one day will die and then I'll be like by myself. And I was just like, no, I need somebody around me. So.
But thank you for sharing that. I just want to say I love that you honored your grandmother in that way. I'm learning this about you. I didn't know this part. So thank you for sharing. And honestly, like I know she's smiling and looking down. And really, when you were describing her, I'm like, that's who you are. You just embodied her. You became her. And you have all these people. And I really think like you truly do have that much to give. I don't know how you do it, but it's like, what is it, limitless with you. And it's good to hear the story that it literally was just passed down.
Yeah, I really do think it was pass down. Like I really, really do. And I think too, seeing how my mom welcomes people, like my
Mm-hmm.
mom, ever since Leland proposed to me, you asked my mom, like we were at the store when someone's like, oh, how many kids do you have? She was like, you seem like you have a lot of kids. She's like, I have 3 kids. I have two sons and a daughter. And I was like, if I asked her, I was like, who's your other kid? She's like, Leland. I'm like, oh, yeah, your son. Okay. Your son-in-law. Yeah. And then she'll be like, oh, like she was on the phone, one of her girlfriends, and talking about the wedding dress shopping. And she was like, well, who went? She's like, oh, 3 of my daughters. One came down from Florida, the
Mm-hmm.
other ones live here. And then one was on the phone and from the UK. So my 4 daughters, and then one of Ashley's mom, so it was just like, I've seen my mom welcome people into our home,
Mm-hmm.
people who don't maybe have that caring, especially mother. And she just plays that role very well. And it's not playing. It's who she is.
It's not for play. It's just who she is.
It's who she is. It really is. So yeah, I really did have that foundation. And I hope my grandma's fallen down on me. I feel like in the season, she definitely has been. So Ray, what does it actually look like to keep a chosen family together? Because we all know, like you said, it doesn't just happen. What did you have to do or continue to do to put in effort?
I think you have to be thoughtful, but you have to take it to the next level because your chosen family, like, I feel like the difference is with your blood family, they're always going to be blood. You can go a year, you can go months and not speak or not engage, and you'll still be family. You'll still be all love. But your chosen family, I feel like they're your center. It's like as if they lived in the house with you. You need to always be checking in. You need to always be making sure they have what they need. And so I think you have to think outside of yourself. Like, oh, it's been a week. I wonder how my sister friend is doing. Mind you, like it's been a couple weeks. I haven't asked where you are in your wedding planning process. Like, that's not me being a good chosen family member if I'm not checking on my loved one. I know this chosen sister is going through this. Let me make sure she knows I'm here. Let me make sure she knows, he knows. I don't judge. So whatever you got going on, you got some crazy thoughts, I ain't about to look at you crazy. I'm going to just listen and I'm going to help you through it the best way. And so being thoughtful, thinking outside yourself, pushing past yourself too, because sometimes you're tired, you don't want to be bothered, things like that. But is that really appropriate for people who want to engage with you? Like sometimes you got to check yourself when dealing with people. And I'm saying that broadly. I know we talk about chosen family, but sometimes you do have to check yourself when dealing with people. Like they don't deserve your ass to kiss. That's the saying. Nobody's done anything to you.
Yeah.
So just being thoughtful, checking yourself, and I don't know, just being a good person keeps the chosen family together. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. And I will say this. I think it's okay for your chosen family members for you to get picky with them. Like, if they aren't living up to your expectations and you have talked to them on several occasions about this, then they may not be a chosen family member anymore. People know that I have a family deficit, right? Like my supposedly chosen family, I have a family deficit. So if you're having a family event and I'm in the vicinity and you don't even think that like, oh, Sheree might want to be there. So like, I think this could be appropriate for her to come through. I'm like, are you really chosen family? Because I'm your friend. I'm your family. I notice your deficits, right? And I'm going to make sure that I can help fulfill them as much as possible. So, knowing that I have a family deficit and not include me, I'm like, probably not my chosen family. Everybody know I love to come to the functions. I'm bringing food, I'm bringing bottles, I'm bringing a spades table.
You're bringing the vibes.
And the vibes. So it's just like, So you got to take the effort. You do get to choose your family. And just be open for whatever life takes you and that family member. Y'all made a commitment. Like people talk about relationships, romantic relationships, but your friends and your sisters and your brothers, that's a commitment as well. So you should be there. You should be present. You should be all in. That's how we keep it together. We live at a distance. We see each other more than when I was at home, seem like.
No, we do. Yeah. It's
You gotta make
definitely
the
more
commitment.
intentional. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So, we're switching gears. Right now, we're going to honor all the mamas in our life for
Yes.
Mother's Day.
Yes.
So I know you were just talking about her a little bit, but why don't you tell us about your mom? Not the role, the person. What does she mean to you?
Oh gosh, I don't think there's words, to be honest. Like she is I wrote in her card today. I of course like I'm a card giver. Ray knows this. And I was like, I really think you, and I know you are my guardian angel on earth. Like, because of my mom and her prayer. And I think a lot of the women in my life, like, again, at Mother's Day, so I'm calling all the women in my life. And one of them said to me, she's like, I pray for you every day. I'm just so thankful for you every day. And she is my rock. She is my solitude in storm. She is my sunshine on the brightest of days. She is, oh, I'm crying. She is, there are not words to describe my mom. She's an angel, like really, really, really is. She's the most selfless person I know, which is crazy because I think I'm very selfless, but she she'll do anything for anyone that she cares about. Like, so if she's doing that for anyone she cares about, imagine being her child, what it feels like to be her kid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's strong, she's powerful, she's mighty, she's very convicted in her decisions, in her thoughts, in her actions. She's very methodical. Like, I've never seen my mom be impulsive. I think I can be impulsive at times. And I've never seen my mom in 34 years be impulsive and do something that she'll regret later. Uh-uh. And I admire that so much about her. And she speaks life into people. Like she really, really, really does. She turns whatever negative situation into the most positive one you could ever be. You lost your job? That's okay. You didn't like that job anyway. What are we going to do to get you a new job? When the next job that's coming for you is better. How can I help you apply? Who do I know so I can reach out and see what we can get you, that career. Oh, that settlement didn't happen. That's okay. You're going to find a bigger, more expensive house for your client. Like whatever it is, she just she's so positive. And I think having that in a mom really made me growing up feel like I was invincible, which as a woman, I think we need to feel that way more times than not. And yeah, she's, I call her the grand dame because that is what she is. She is the diva of divas. And for her, I'm so grateful. Like I'm so, so, so grateful. And yeah, I hope one day she listens to this and cries and smiles. But I could not have asked for a better mom. Like I couldn't. Every day I look up and I'm like, dang, this is my mom. She's like that girl, So she is the it girl before there was an it girl. And she really is. But yeah, that is my Edie in a few sentences, but enough about me crying and my mom. So Ray, Mother's Day can be challenging when you weren't raised by your mom. How do you move through that day? Do you grieve? Do you skip it? Do you reclaim it? What does it look like? As you know, I have someone very deep in my life whose mom was not always there for them. So I always handle Mother's Day with like very delicate way. So how do you navigate it? I don't think I've ever asked you this actually.
Well, it's changed. So I'll just talk about the now. I can say it definitely was challenging over the years. with that, you know, being raised by my maternal great aunt versus my mom. But now I can say I've reclaimed it. Like, I honor both my moms. I have a bio mom that got me here, and I have a mom who raised me. And so I honor both. And I do want to take some time to reflect about my mom that raised me. My good Aunt Dottie is what we call her. Everybody calls her that. You know, it wasn't until I was older, you know, me and her used to bump heads sometimes, and people would be like, it's because y'all just alike.
Yeah.
And I still to that day be like, we're not just alike, but I didn't learn my selflessness on my own. That was her.
Oh,
My mom has raised 3 generations. She raised her own sisters. Oh, 4. Mm-hmm. She sacrificed her time. She worked before she put her youngest baby sister through college before she even went to hers, before she even went on her own, went back and then got a master's. So went to undergrad, got a master's. After she put her youngest sister through college, who is like the family CEO, literally. So she made that sacrifice there. That's what we call selflessness.
Yeah.
Then my mama, my bio mom, she raised her for a little bit too. When she was a teenager before she moved to Philadelphia with her mom. And then that's how all of us got here in Philadelphia. So that's a second generation. My mom was unable to, you know, stay clean. She had an addiction issue. And she ended up raising 2 of her girls, myself and my sister, and our third sister eventually as well. So she's raised 3 generations at this point. And now she's very much an active grandma with my sister's kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I tend to think I'm a very selfless person. And I was like, where did you get that from? I got it from her. To this day, if she hadn't took her niece's children, I would have been like in foster care or worse off.
Yeah.
So I honor her today, and I thank her for all her sacrifice and putting us first, because she lost a marriage. Not saying she lost a marriage behind us, but she's seen so much, she's had to endure so much, but still me and my sisters were always the center. She always made sure we were good to this day. So yeah, that's how I really think about Mother's Day. I remember I told her one time, like, maybe I was like 16, 17. I was like, I really wish we had decided to call you Mom if I knew I would be here forever. Like, I'm laughing to keep from crying, but if I had knew you would really take me from 6 years old, 6, 7 years old to my 30-something years on life, I wish that I had just called you Mom. I wish I knew, because of the sacrifice and the commitment. You know, some surrogate mothers, pseudo moms, I would say surrogate mom in my sense, they're done with you after 18.
Oh, yeah.
This woman, I shouldn't make this out loud. This woman just stopped paying my car insurance this year.
Yeah.
I didn't pay a car insurance since I was 16 years old and crashed 2 or 3 cars. But yeah, she's loved. She has a very hard exterior. That's where I say we're the same. I didn't see it at first, but no person sacrifices their whole life for the gift, giving that gift to others so they can have a good life. That's what she did.
Yes. Yeah. That's beautiful.
So that's how I think about it. I honor both my mothers. I pray for my bio mom. She's still earthside. So I pray for her to find the strength. And then I pray for my mom that raised me, that she finds her peace, that she's happy.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So
That's really beautiful.
I know we're running a little long, so we're going to close it out. But after this conversation, what is one word that family means to you right now?
Family means love. Like, I know that's the most generic, boring word, but that is the word that I've always felt loved by my family and my loved ones. But like I've said, in this season, and I know that's going to be my word for the season, but in this season, the love that I have like seen, not just felt, but seen from you all, and like, there's no words. There's no words. Like everyone who knows me, who cares for me, is showing up for me in whatever way they can, and for that, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for that. So love, it is the love is being felt, the love is real, the love is evident, the love is strong, really strong. It is the loudest noise that I hear every week is that I'm loved. So what about you, Ray Ray?
I would say it's a word that's close to love,
Okay.
devotion.
Oh, I like
I-
that.
Yes. Family, chosen, blood, is you got to be devoted to each other. Life is hard enough. Like we know that right now, just it's crazy. So you want your family, your chosen ones to be devoted to you and vice versa. That's all. Love each other and be devoted to each other.
Yeah.
Devoted to their growth, devoted to whatever else they got going on. Just devoted to
Yeah.
them. So yeah, so that's my word. But to our listener, whether it's your chosen family or your real family, go tell them today that you love them. Wish your mamas, your pseudo mamas, everybody a happy Mother's Day. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed our conversation today and
Wow.
you're able to do some reflecting. But definitely tap in, let us know in the comments or in our DMs if you can relate.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think a lot of people will relate to this. Our product, come on.
I was gonna get there. Before we let you go, we're gonna do our product of the week. Oh, of the month.
Of the month.
So Ash, what are you loving this month?
My portion plate. I know I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I just want to put that out there. Okay. But your girl is trying to get extra snatched, of course, for the weddings and just for her life. Okay. And I have been working out, waking up at the 6 a.m. to get to the gym by 6:30, doing my little thing, yada, yada, yada. Your girl likes to eat, as we know. And I'll be like, oh, I eat healthy, but I'm not losing weight. I'm eating too many. My portions are too big. So my lovely, lovely boxing coach, Coach RJ, shout out to him, was like, you need to get you portion bowls and portion plates. Because I was like, I'm not good at like weighing my food, like the scale thing. I don't. Mm-mm. So this portion plate from Amazon, literally, it shows you the amount of veggies that should fit on the side, the amount of carb, the amount of protein. And I will say it has been a game changer for me in my fitness and healthy life journey. And I highly recommend it if you're someone who struggles with feeling like you're overeating, even if it is the right things. There is such a thing as like overeating the right things. So I've been loving that lately. I've been using that and really, really liking it. And I feel like it helps me and keeps me on track as well, with like really being visibly able to see like, okay, how much I've consumed in every meal. So that's one thing that I'm in love. You can get them on Amazon. You literally just type in portion plate. There's so many different ones. The portion bowls have like a cup and a half, 2 cups, 1 cup. And it really puts things in perspective. Like if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna put some chips in a bowl. And you get a bowl, you just put them in. You don't know how many cups you're having, right? Like when that thing says servings at the top. Yeah, these help you with that. And the other day I had some popcorn. I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, this is what a cup of popcorn looks like. Wow. Okay, then this is my cup. Like that's
Here we
it.
are eating a whole bowl.
Eating a whole bowl or whole bag, girl, half the bag. Look up, be like, oh my God, eating half this bag. So that's something. Those are things that I'm loving, and you can get both of those on Amazon, honestly, for a really good price. So, what about you, Ray Ray?
I want to shout out Marriott because
Oh yeah.
I traveled this past week, as we know, and I had stayed in 2 different Marriotts during my stay. And both the customer service was excellent. The rooms were big. They were spotless. I think I needed some accommodation. I traveled with Honey, so that accommodation was made, like no questions asked. Actually, both hotels. Yeah, both of them. So I really enjoyed my stay at the Marriott this past week, and I just want to commend them for excellent customer service and comfortability of their rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all know traveling is a headache. This was a harder travel, late flights, late car rentals. It was just all over the place.
Yeah.
And Marriott made it so nice at the end of the night.
They really did.
Got to my hotel. So yes, that's my product place thing that I'm loving this month. Marriott hotels.
I love that. That's a good one. Well, you guys, thank you for always tuning in. But of course, thank you for tuning in to today's show. You know where to find us. Leave us a review. The reviews really matter, you guys. So please leave us a review if you're loving our shows. Share this episode and any of our episodes with somebody who needs it, or go listen to them again. And we will see you next month on the 19th.
Yes, my earth side.
Bye.
If you enjoy listening to the podcast, follow us on social media at Her Side of the Story RA. And don't forget to rate the podcast and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.